of what we are, but people receive it that way. People think, oh, they turned their back on me, so they don't like me, or they're disrespecting me. And maybe that's not what that person meant. But body language is very important. Yeah, it's very important. Okay, and we'll talk about that more today. So communication. Communication is how we give information to others. It's how we receive information from others. So it's a back and forth. It's the giving of information and it's the receiving of information. Communication, it's how we share our ideas, how we share our opinions to other people around us. And also communication is how we build relationships with people. You know, we build relationships through our communicating with people. And that can be relationships at work. It can be relationships in your family. It can be relationships in school. It can be relationships in all of the areas of our life. So communication and having good skills for communication, it will affect every area of our life, including our work. So now there are many sides to communication. Or we could say there are many things to learn about communication. Just like communication is the words that come out of our mouth. Communication is our body language. Communication is how we write to people. So there's many sides to communication. And it's important to develop a variety of skills. It's important to develop different skills for both communicating to people and then also learning how to interpret or understand information that other people are giving us. Learning how to understand the right message that they're giving us. And also to learn how to give the right message to people. And sometimes that happens very easy. And sometimes there's a lot of mistakes that are made. A lot of misunderstandings that happen. So we're going to learn about some different skills that can help us be better in our communicating. So we're going to talk about it in this way today. We're going to talk about 4 sides of communication. Now, the picture here, what is that a picture of? Anybody have a guess of what this is a picture of? Any ladies want to guess? You're seeing 4 different sides. It's one person, but you see 4 different sides of that person. What do you think that is a picture of? Just a guess. Anybody want to guess before I tell you? Well, this is a picture of a haircut. Now for me, this is one way I have learned how to communicate the way I want my hair to be cut when I can't speak the language to somebody. I can say, okay, my hair on one side is going to look this way, and when you look in the front, that haircut will look this way, and the back is going to look this way, and then on this side it's going to look this way. So it's all one haircut, but there's 4 sides to the head, and you have to cut the right way so you get the whole haircut. You get the right haircut. And for someone who does hair, who knows how to cut hair, they understand understand that there's two sides, the front and the back, that they have to know how to cut so they get the right haircut. We have to understand what each side looks like and develop the skills that we need for these different sides or different pieces of communication. So we're going to look at side number one. Side number one. And this side is it's who we communicate with and why we are communicating. So it's the idea that communication So communication changes according to our relationship with people. The way you communicate to a friend is going to be a little different than how you're going to communicate to a boss. The way you communicate to your parents is going to be different than how you would communicate to a child. So depending on who we communicate with, there will be changes in how we communicate. And also, communication will change according to our purpose in communication. And there can be a lot of different reasons we want to communicate. There can be a lot of different purposes or goals in our communication. I just made a list of some of them. We may want to get to know someone. We may want to get a job, so that means we're having an interview. And there's certain communication skills we need for that. We may want to share our ideas, our opinions, our strengths, our experiences with somebody. We may want to learn about somebody else's ideas, opinions, strengths, and experiences. We want to share information. Maybe we're wanting to complete a job or a project, and we've got to communicate with someone. Maybe we just want to share our feelings. We want to develop a close relationship, maybe a close friendship, an intimate kind of relationship. So those are all different purposes or goals that communication can have. And there can be others. But the way I communicate to get a job, in a job interview, the way I communicate in a job interview is going to be very different than how I'm going to communicate when I want to develop a close friendship with somebody. I'm not communicating the same way when I am in a business interview trying to get a job. I'm not going to communicate the same way that I will when I want to get to know somebody, to be a close friend or an intimate friend. There's differences. Now, some of those differences, I tell you what, let me just stop here and let me ask real quick, what do you think would be some differences? What do you think would be some differences? Any ideas? Okay.
The differences are the expression that we show when we communicate with others. For example, the expression when I talk with my parents or talk with my boss are different to the expressions that I talk with my friends. And the words that I use, I have to use more respectful words when I talk with people that I need to respect. And different with the words that I use when I talk
we express ourselves, expressions, and our words. Yes, we use different kind of words depending on the relationship we have with people. Okay, okay. Anybody else? Okay, I see you back there.
I think the differences are the use of language and also the time and effort that we spend to consider using a language.
Okay, okay, okay. So the difference is the language we use, the words we use, and even if we use English or we use Vietnamese, and the kind of words we use, and then the time that we take to prepare. Okay, the time that we take to prepare to communicate with different people. You know, when I'm talking to a friend, I may not take a lot of time to think about how I'm going to say something if it's just a friendly conversation. But if I'm going to have to talk to my boss about something, I may take like a day or two to think, how am I going to say this to my boss so they understand what I want to say, and I say it to where they don't get upset, you know? Or I say it in the right way to them, in a professional way. So, very good. Those are some good thoughts on that. So let's look at what are the changes. And we've already heard from the two that shared some things. Things that change is our tone of voice. So how we use our voice. You know, with a friend, we might get, oh, so excited. With a boss, I don't think we would go, oh, I'm so glad to see you. Our boss might look at us a little different, you know. So our tone, the way we use our voice can be different. It can be more casual or more formal. It can be more friendly or more business or some people say professional. Not as friendly in our tone, not as casual in the way we use our voice. The words we use. The type of words we use. We may use words that are more casual words or informal words. Like, hey, how you doing? In English, that's a very informal, casual way of saying hello. And you might say that to a friend. Hey, how you doing? But to someone who's like a teacher, a boss, someone that has a place of authority, I might say, hello, it is good to see you today. How are you doing? So the words I use would be different, and the tone in my voice would be different. And then body language. Body language as far as facial expressions, the way we move our body, we use our body, the space. I know, I think probably for you experienced this. I know in America we talk about this a lot because there's some regions in America where people want to be very distant in their space with people. You know, they're okay talking to somebody when there's a lot of space between them. But then some regions, they like to be more friendly, and so they like to talk really close. And so people can feel really different ways about how the space between people. You know, one way I recently was listening to a workshop, and this person was illustrating it. The teacher was illustrating it, and he said, "Okay, I'm going to keep moving towards you, and you tell me when I'm too close." And so for some people, you know, they could move, and he could move, and he could get kind of close. But for some other people, he would move, and they go, oh, he had to be farther away. So different people have different, they're comfortable at different measures of space between them and other people. And also, just in a relationship with people. You may, with someone in your family or with a friend, you may feel very comfortable, and they may feel very comfortable with you coming very close to them as you talk to them. With someone that is a supervisor, that is a teacher, someone in a different, or a stranger, you may want to put more distance because you don't feel comfortable being as close to them. So that's a way that communication can change. And then the content of what we say. So the content of our message. Not only the words we use, but how we use those words. Is our message going to be very detailed, or just less detailed, fewer words? Maybe someone doesn't know us as well, and so we feel like we need to share more details so that they understand what we want to communicate. Someone may know us very well, and we might be able to say a few words, and they understand, oh, I know what you're talking about because I know you, and we've been talking about this other times, and so I know what you're talking about.